Hey, 7th graders, if you're watching this video, it's because you have already completed all of your worksheet. If you have not completed your worksheet yet, please pause this video and answer A, B, C, and D. And then once you're finished with it, then you should be watching it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I gave you this worksheet and I wanted you to attempt it on your own, and then I'm kind of going to go over the answers with you and what I got for answers. So we know that an electronics store recently purchased tablets to sell in their store. They paid $60 for each tablet. We want to write an equation to represent the total cost, which is going to be represented by C, for T tablets. So the total cost going to the electronics store. Here's what I have for my equation. I have that C equals 60T. So what this means is the cost is equal to the $60 per every tablet. So if I said that my T equaled, let's say they bought 4 tablets, I could put that into my equation and I know my cost would be 60 times 4. So your equation for any cost is C equals 60T. The second one, explain what the number 60 means in your equation in part A. Here's what I put. I talked about it a little bit. 60 represents the cost per each tablet in the equation above. It can be as simple as that. That's what 60 represents. It's the cost per each tablet, and so that's why we put it into our equation. Part C, the selling price of the tablet is $108. So I'm going to stop. I know that $108 is what they're going to sell the tablet for at the store, but they're only buying it for $60, so I know that it's a markup. What is the percent increase from the purchase price of $60 to the price that an electronics store sells them for? Explain how you found your answer. We can do part, percent, whole, and I think this is the trickiest part, is part C. We have part, which we also know is the sales price. We have percent, and we have whole. So whole is always the original price. So this is what's tricky about here. The original price, this is a markup. So the original price is the amount that they paid for the tablets, which is $60. The sales price is the $108. And the percent, we don't know. We want to know what markup is it from 60 to 108. Now, there's more than one way to solve this. This is just how I did it. And I'll reveal my answer. And if you did it a different way and got the same answer, then that's fantastic. So there's my part, percent, whole, which means I can make my equation my part, which is $108 because that's my sales price. It's going to equal my percent, which I don't know, times the whole. So I'm going to write that as 60x. Then to solve for x, what I need to do is divide each side by 60. So if I do 60 divided by 60, I get x. And if I do 108 divided by 60, I get 1.8. So I can answer 1.8 equals x. Ugh. This doesn't seem very helpful, but this is where we have to use what we know to interpret this answer. I know that it's not a 1.8% increase. That's silly. But I can change this into a percent because x is equal to my percent, and it says it's equal to 1.8. So I want to know, what is 1.8 as a percent? Well, I'm going to move my decimal point over 2 times. So if I move it 2 times, I will see that 1.8 represents 180%. So now I can use this information. I know that the original cost is always equal to 100%. But this one says 180%, so the markup must be this remaining amount right here. I know the original cost is 100%, and then I have this 80% added to it. So 180% means that I have an 80% markup. I'm paying 80% more than the original cost of 100%. So my answer would be, I'm going to go back to black. The percent increase from the purchase price to the sales price is an 80% markup. I found my answer by identifying my part, which is my sales price of $108, the percent, which I did not know, and the original cost of $60. I used the equation 108 equals 60x to find that percent equals 1.8. I know that the number 1.8 represents 180%. If the original cost is 100% of the cost, then I know the consumer or the customer will pay 80% more of that cost because it shows that the customer pays 180%. Something along the lines of that to explain how I got my answer. And then the last part, the electronics store is having a sale. They will discount the computers 20% off the selling price. How much money will they make from each computer? And this one I don't think says explain how you know anymore. So I can't get rid of these letters. So we'll take the sales price, which is $108, which now becomes not our part anymore, but our whole. Because that's the new original price. That's the original price that customers see when they come in. They don't see the markup. They just see the sales price as the original. So my whole is $108. That's how much they're selling the computers for. We're getting 20% off. I want to figure out how much are we going to make from each computer. So there's two different ways to do this. You can have your percent be 20% or you can have it be 80%. Because 80% is the amount we're paying. So if you get 20% off, you're doing 100% minus 20%, which gives you 80%. So my equation is part equals percent, and I'm going to do the 81 because I know that gives me my answer right away, times 108. If we need a calculator, we can always Google our calculator. And we want to know what is 80% of $108. So 108 times 80%, we're going to pay $86.40. So this is the amount that each person is going to pay if they have this sales price. Now, that's not the answer. That's not answering my question. My question is asking how much will the store profit from each computer, which means how much money is the store going to make? So I have to go way back and see how much the store paid for each computer. Well, I see up here that they paid for each tablet. They paid $60 for each tablet. And this should say tablet. I'm just realizing this right now. It should say tablet. They paid $60 for each tablet, and the people at the store are buying them for $86.40. So I want to see how much money would you make. $86.40 minus the $60 means that the store is making $26.40 for each tablet. If you have any questions about any of the parts, I was just pausing and watching it again. But if you're finished with the worksheet and finished with checking it, please move on to ST Math. Good luck.